All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
Annie is
everybody.
looking down because she's replying to
I
everybody's messages.
I love how
It's kind of
everybody's
fun. We like
already
getting
on.
on early and watching people's comments, even David's comments right now.
David, you're so funny. It's like, good morning, how are
All
you?
right.
Yeah.
Looks like Amy's on now too.
Hey,
Good morning,
Amy.
Amy and
Are all the
Claire.
kids awake? Are you making breakfast and juggling all the things?
Or are they sleeping? Like our teenagers, we have finally let them sleep in on our church from home days. It's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
Good morning, Marty. You went to the women's event yesterday.
I hope that was
I
good.
bet it was
Sounds like we had a good
awesome.
week. I bet the women's gift exchange was fun.
And Meg is on. Good morning, Meg.
My dad is at Peggy's house, which is probably the only guy there,
Oh my
I
gosh, do you have
guess.
a whole crew there at Peggy's house?
Yeah.
Who's there? That sounds where it's party's at.
Summer, good morning, Summer.
Hello, Summer.
I like saying her name.
Summer.
Summer. It's
I do too. It's so cute.
fun. Yeah, I'm surprised Summer's on. Maybe you're on and you're on a walk already because it's nice out. And I'm surprised
It's so nice out.
Joel is not dragging you out in the woods
Well, they
somewhere.
went to Mount Baker yesterday, so
Okay,
we'll see how that
okay.
went. I heard it was a little crunchy up there for the skiing.
Nice.
Oh,
Awesome. Well, good morning, everybody. So we'll go through announcements first. We have very little announcements.
very little.
Church from home today. That's the first announcement.
Well, and you're here. Look at you guys got the first memo already. Good job. Amy's been awake since 6:30.
Oh,
Weekends with little kids.
wow. And then the only other announcement, so we have a couple things coming in the future. So somewhere in, I think it's February 18th, we start with Lent, which we've not really focused on before in the past, but we feel like this year is important to focus on Lent. Um, and Oh, cool. Dad says he's not the only. Look at Jim is.
Oh,
Good
good. I'm
job.
so
Thank you,
glad Jim is
Jim.
there. Oh, Peggy, Jim, Teresa, Bonnie, and Ted.
Okay,
Okay,
good,
good.
good.
Summer said it was icy. I believe it. Hopefully you didn't fall on that ice. It's just like I heard it was crazy yesterday. Brian Falls. Good morning, Brian.
Nice. Lots of you guys on here. Cool. Very cool. Anyways, Lent is February 18th. My sister is going to do probably a little video with Eric, and you're going to hear about some revelation she has on Lent, and we're going to try to, as a church, just do some things around Lent.
Which I
We've
don't
never
think we've
done.
ever done that. Maybe a
I
long
don't
time
think I've ever
ago.
preached on it for sure, but I was been aware that times are Lent, and I've done things personally, but I've never done something public with
I
it.
love
So
it.
that'll be fun.
It's gonna be
And
good.
then we'll move into our Easter week, and we're gonna do a Friday night um, service for
Good Friday.
Good Friday. But that's later. That's like in April. So we're talking way ahead right
We
now.
like to tell you way in advance so you can mark it down though, so
Yep.
you know something's happening, so you don't go out of town, you don't plan something else,
Yep.
and you
And we
can be
have
involved.
way in the future. We have I am going to do a men's event in the summer. We're gonna before that actually in the spring we're gonna do a first fruits again. So we'll let you know when that's coming, but that'll be in May sometime. We'll do a first fruits, probably a couple times series, so we get into that topic. We always do first fruits, and we're praying about what to do that with that this year already.
Yes.
And then after that, my plan is to have a men's event where we go up in the woods for a few days with I don't know, just a few guys probably. So that'll be like so
Wait, that here?
that'll be here in
Okay.
Yellow Aster Butte probably is where we're gonna go. And I would hope to take 5, 6 guys and just go up there and seek God for 3 days and 3, 4 days. So we'll give it a date on that soon, but that'll be in the summer. And if that's interesting to you at all, but you're like, there's no way, I'm telling you this far ahead,
You can start
you can start
practicing.
practicing, start going on hikes. And then same thing for the Maui men's, we're calling it
Maui man.
Maui men's. We're gonna do a limited to 10 people only. There's a cabin in on Maui. We're gonna do a trip for guys where we hear from God, get a vision for our lives, stretch ourselves, like just like lots of stuff that we'll do. But you have to be able to hike 10 miles. So if I'm telling you that because it's gonna be in October, you have till from now till October to practice hiking until you can hike 10 miles.
Yes.
There's
That's
nothing
gonna be
wrong with
so
that.
good.
Just even the journey of practicing to be able to do 10 miles is fantastic.
Yes.
So
And we are still doing the ladies' events. Evelyn has been still planning that, which is awesome, and that's so fun. And
there'll be
but
more.
there going to be more. Me and Summer and Amy have been working on a plan to do a wild women's kind of group, and that's going to be like more of like
The active
outdoorsy,
part.
very active, climbing mountains, learning if you want to trail run, some basic skills of how to do that.
But we'll still have the fun
Groups.
things too, like yesterday, the
Yes,
gift
we're still
exchange.
gonna have both.
Evelyn's going to be in charge of fun
Yes,
and exciting things, like things that you can do, anybody can do. Danny and Summer and them are going to
and
challenge
Amy.
people to do. You guys are going to challenge people to do,
Challenge ourselves,
yes,
yes.
something
So it'll be a fun challenging
extreme.
group this summer.
What a
So
shock. You're going to challenge
yes,
people to do some extreme things.
it's good though. Good morning,
Both are
Julie.
necessary.
Yeah, they
So
are. Julie and Brian are on. Good morning.
awesome.
Jane and Jerry. Good morning,
Oh,
guys.
another exciting announcement
Hi,
is
Vicky.
next week. So Danny's not going to be here next week. She has a run, a marathon. But Lindsay and Peter are going to be visiting, and Lindsay has an announcement. I'm going to ask her to share what she's got doing, what she's doing, what God is doing in her life. She's got something very exciting coming up. And if you haven't been on social media, you're not aware of it. If you've been on social media, you're already aware what she's up to. And she's been working towards a goal that God has told her to do,
It's
and
amazing.
super exciting. So she'll share
And
next
she's been
Sunday.
trimming hair to raise money for going to Israel. And
That's what the exciting thing is.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's posted on her in her page, but it's
Yeah.
just so awesome to see her. She has her boys with her, and she's doing all these things. It's just so
Yeah.
cool to see her like fully coming alive and doing what she's supposed to do. And
So join us next Sunday and hear
yes,
from her a little bit on her
she's going to
journey.
share all the journey. So I'm excited.
Those are our
I'm gonna have to
announcements.
listen in after. It's so sad if I
Yep.
miss that.
You're going to be on a race. So
Mhm.
the other thing will be, I guess that's all the, oh, there's identity events coming this year as well. Stay tuned. I have a book launch coming this year for around identity. I'm going to sell tickets with book purchases as a fundraiser type thing. So it might be a fuller event. So that's going to be later in the year. I think we have it set up for September and November. So those events are already nailed. Those are actually on the description of the video that you're watching right now. You'll see the dates for those events, and you can already start reserving or telling people about it. So
This is all exciting things
lots
coming
of
up.
stuff this year. It
Yes,
feels like we're here we go.
it's good though. It's so good.
Okay.
Good morning, Chris. I see you
Uh,
joined us
if
too.
you're on and you want to support what we're doing, you can give online. You can give towards us. That'd be great. We love it when you guys support what we're doing. You should have gotten a letter if you already do give. Some of the things we were able to give to this year was pretty cool. We had all our first fruits went towards James Place. We had about the same amount went towards local, like our support for missions, and
Mhm.
we had some local people that we helped. So we were able to do a lot this year. It was quite cool
It's
what we did.
awesome.
We helped one
It's
family over
amazing,
three
such a
thousand dollars.
small church, such a small community that gives so much and
Yep,
just is so passionate about that.
makes us proud of this.
It makes it so proud. I mean, like, you hear big, giant businesses and companies doing things like that, but we're such a small group that have such like minds
Yep.
that I think it's really cool that we can pour into people like we do.
So if you want to give online, you can give on our app. That's the address for the app. I would say that texting to give is one of the best ways to do it. So you text to this number 1-855-668-1648, and then you on the description of the text you say give. It keeps going away because
And then as soon as it says give and you enter the amount, it'll bring you to a separate,
oh,
like a little app that you have to click on. You just click on the link and then it brings you right there just to confirm the amount.
and that's how we give is on
Yes.
that app. So or you can give online, or you can send checks in, or you can come in next week and join us.
Yes.
Either way. So all right. Well, I'm excited. We're going to talk to you guys about something we were asking God what to talk about, and I don't know if you saw the title already, but it's called Now I See. I'm going to go to it. Sorry, I'm messing with a bunch of stuff. So, what is Now I See?
What is this?
So, it's the story of the blind man. We want to talk about the blind man who could see, and the phrase that he says in there that stuck out to us is called Now I See. And so, I'm going to pull that up and try to do two things at once. Can you see me? This is fun. I'm getting
But
confused
can you
here.
see?
Can
Yes,
you
this is
see?
the
Now I
trick.
can see. Okay. So this is when Jesus and the disciples were walking by. So he said it says this is in John 9, verses 1. We're going to read through 12. As he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth. And then his disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he would be born blind? Jesus answered, it is neither that this man sinned nor that his parents, but it is so that the works of God might be displayed in him. We must work with the works of him who sent me as long as it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When When he had said this, he spat on the ground and made clay and the spittle and applied the clay to his eyes. And he said to him, Go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is translated sent. So he went away and washed and came back seeing. Therefore, the neighbors and those who were previously saw him as a beggar were saying, Is not this the one who was used to sit and beg? Others were saying, This is he. Still others were saying, No, but he is like, but he is like him. He is like him, but it's not him. He keeps saying, I am the one. So they were saying this to him. How then were your eyes opened? And he answered, The man who was called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said to me, Go to the Siloam and wash. So I went away and washed, and I received my sight. Then he said to him, Where is he? He said, I do not know. So there's a lot in this story. There's a lot. One of the things that I wanted to bring up is that Jesus changes our sight, but he also changes our narrative.
Mhm.
So, um, what's some things that you like about this story first?
I just, whenever there's a story in the Bible like this, I'm like, why is this in the Bible? Like, why is this important enough to be
Why did
written
this get
down?
logged down?
Yeah, like what, who thought this was important enough for us to study this and to know this in history from that point forward? And it's unusual. I like it because it's so weird. There's so many weird elements to the story.
Yeah,
He was a beggar forever. He couldn't see, blind, since birth. Jesus spit on the ground and made,
that's
a
a weird thing in
balm
itself.
for his eyes. That's
Yeah,
weird. There's
and
so many,
told him to wash in the clay in the asylum.
yeah, there's so many elements to this that are just so unusual that I love
Yep,
and I want to know more about.
yep, cool. So should
Yeah.
we dig in it?
Let's dig in. Yeah,
So
let's dig in.
the first things I want to point out is the very beginning of it is like he said, "Who sinned? This man? Who sinned? This man or his parents?" And it's very interesting. And what I think is happening right now is that we try to make a topic out of something that God is not talking
Like a
about.
blame.
So the whole story is really of that Jesus sets people free, helps them see, and that Jesus is who he says he is. That's the point of the story. But throughout the entire story, everybody's like, well, whose sin? Is it about this sin or this sin? And then the Pharisees come along and they're upset that he got healed. And they're upset because Jesus healed on the Sabbath.
Mhm.
So
They're mad about anything they can be
because
mad about.
because Jesus healed on the Sabbath, they automatically assume Jesus is a sinner. So all the people around in this story are assuming sin about people.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So Jesus didn't once bring up sin. He said it's not about sin, it's about God, so that God would get credit. So that this man would be a story that we talk about. That's why it's in the book.
Yeah.
So it's because of that reason. So two things happen. One, the man gets sees, and then right after this, I'm not going to read it, but right after this, the last thing in verse 12 it says, "Where is he?" And the blind man says, "I don't know." So they're mad. The Pharisees are mad, and they're trying to find him. And they rope in the parents. They're like, who was he blind? And he's like, yes, he was blind from birth. And then like now he sees, and they're like, well, who is this man? They're like, I don't know. My son's an adult. Ask him.
Hmm.
So then he asks him, and the man ends up responding to them. I think we have that verse. But the whole thing is the argument of like, who's the sinner?
And
Is
this
it?
guy just got healed. He's
Yes.
not wanting to probably, he's just being straightforward. It's like, I was blind, now I see, is like the most basic statement. He's not like saying, I believe in Jesus and but changed my life and all these things. He's just saying a fact of what happened. He's not, honestly, he's not trying to rock any boats.
Yep.
He's just telling the Pharisees what happened.
Yep.
He doesn't want to make them mad at
He
him,
doesn't want to
probably.
make them mad.
He doesn't
Yep.
want to get killed because of what happened. I mean, it sounds like to me.
So what I like about this story is in the middle of the story, right in the middle of it, verse 25. We're going to go there right now. The blind man answered, and whether he is a sinner. This is when the Pharisees are trying to say, well, who is he, and is he a sinner, and how do you know him, and all this stuff. He answered, well, whether he's a sinner or not, I do not know. One thing I do know, that though I was blind, now I see,
Hmm.
and that's where I got the phrase from. So, I like this a lot because the truth always disarms deception
Hmm.
and dissipates deception.
It
It just
does.
it sends it. It either makes it more mad if people are deceived.
Yeah,
That makes them
it
more
can make
mad.
people more mad.
But what it does in you as a person, when
Mm,
you recognize, here's what I do know. I don't know. I'm not the professional you are. You're the ones that are saying all this stuff. I don't know. All I know is I was blind, and now I see. And the person who did this was Jesus.
mhm.
and he did it on the Sabbath. So what? So he gets into it a little bit later, but I love this phrase.
I
And I
do
love this
too.
phrase because I believe this is where God is calling us as people to get our blind man story solidified in our life.
Mhm.
Every one of us has some kind of story in our life where I was this way,
Mhm.
but now I'm another. And the person who did that to me was Jesus.
Yeah. And honestly, like our culture is to have like a program to figure out how to get to that step.
What's the principle? How did you do it?
Yes, exactly. Like that's always the first question of like, oh, maybe it was the clay. There's something healing in the clay. You're going to logic. Maybe it just happened. Maybe something happened to him physically and he got well. Like you want to have all these other beliefs. You want to know, like a Pharisee would ask all the questions also,
Yep.
probably trying to disable what has happened from Jesus healing him.
Yep.
So, I
They
mean,
might have got mad at him
they,
for messing in the mud because that's a kind of a work on making a formula in the mud on Sabbath. You're not supposed
yes,
to do
exactly.
anything.
Supposed to do anything at all.
So that's
Yeah.
work to them.
Yeah. So they could pick apart a lot of stuff. But I mean, as a culture, even back then, we always want to have formulas of like, why would this happen? What happened? And I was blind, now I see is not enough for them because they want to know.
Mhm. Something is behind it. So
Yeah, there's
there are spirits
exactly.
leading people, and that's true for today. So what I
Yeah.
want to say is that Jesus is trying to show us his story. His story is that he is the one who helps people see.
Hmm.
And he's the one who sets people free, but he also changes the narrative that they believe. So everyone's making this whole story about sin, and there's even an underlying action, not just in words, that's happening. And I've talked about this before, but some of you may have never heard this before. But Jesus spat in the dirt, and in their day, in the Jewish custom day, if someone was blind or someone was a beggar and had some kind of ailment, it is very often that Jewish people would walk by and spit on that person.
Hmm.
And they spat because they were coming into agreement with the punishment of God. There must be a reason that they're
The
this way
blood or
because they
whatever.
sinned or their parents sinned. So they're coming into agreement with punishment for sin.
Hmm.
That was their custom.
So sad.
That was not God's will this happened. That was what
Culture did. Yeah.
culture did,
Mhm.
and that was super important to them. Today it's the same thing. Everybody wants us to get behind condemning some kind of sin, and there are two sides of that always, and the argument is not even what we're supposed to be talking about.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
behind that, I want you to imagine being this guy who has been spat on his whole entire life. You're sitting on the ground. He didn't necessarily, he might have heard them saying, who sinned, this man or that. You
Hmm.
hear those people walking by, and then you hear a man get
Hmm.
like that, and then he didn't get spit on.
Hmm.
Maybe he thinks he missed, and then he puts this stuff on his eyes, and that would automatically make you think, oh, he's now spitting on my eyes.
Yeah. It just brings you back to your past
Yeah,
trauma,
all the
something
trauma
coming up.
of thousands of
But it
times
was
being
really
spit
the
on.
opposite of that.
So the very thing that made him feel condemned, disappointment, shame, all this stuff his whole life. Then Jesus said, "Go wash." The trust it took for him to go wash is insane.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, I mean, maybe he just wanted to get that off his face. He didn't know exactly what that was. I don't know if Jesus said, "I'm going to put mud in your eyes," and then he did it. I'm not sure he did. I'm thinking he just did it.
Mhm.
And then, can you imagine later after he can see? Every time he hears that sound, every time he sees someone else condemning someone else, all he can think of is the last time that happened to me, I got healed.
Mhm.
So God even redeemed the narrative of what spit was.
Mhm.
And we all have that too in our lives.
We
We have
do.
that judgment. Everyone's trying to judge us or we judge others.
Yeah.
That's a type of spit.
Yes, for
And
sure.
you're in that place, and God wants to redeem that sound. All the place that used to hurt you is also where He healed you and
Mhm.
how He healed you.
Yeah.
So that's part of our
That's so good. I love this story.
So there's a lot of stories in the Bible where Jesus comes in and changes. Now it says in this verses, it says uh, that this was the first time that that there had ever been a recording of a blind being made healed. So let's go to the end of this. Let's go to it. Let's go to.
We
I'll go
can
to
unfold a
proclaim. We
little
can
more.
unfold a little bit more because there's more stories here.
Oops.
Um, The man answered and said to them, "Well, here is an amazing thing that you do not know where he is from, and yet he opened my eyes." Isn't that cool? In verse 31, we know that God does not hear sinners, but if anyone is God, fearing and does his will, he hears him. So he's actually starting to talk to the Pharisees. Since the beginning of time, it has never been heard that anyone opened the eyes of a person born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing. They answered him and said, "You were born entirely in sin." See, they're still sticking to the
Still
old
think.
narrative, and you are teaching us, so they put them out. Anyways, whoops, that's our challenge for the week. So, um,
Yeah, but if they think that that's what has caused it, they have to undo all their thinking and everything that they've ever thought
yeah,
was true to them.
it's not matching the narrative they want.
Yes, exactly. Then they
His,
have to, like, look inside and
yeah,
start to evaluate their own stuff.
yeah.
Nobody wants to do that. When you're set in a way.
When you're set in a victim,
Yes.
or you're set in a way that you have power, you don't want anything to rock that.
Mhm.
So if you don't trust God. And so that's exactly what God is changing right now. On the planet, there's a huge shaking going on, and narratives are being exposed that aren't even God's narrative.
Mhm.
And I keep seeing this happening. And I was asking God, how do we talk about this? Because I keep seeing people arguing about something. And a good way to do it is political. Is it left side or the right side objective? Is it left sides or the right side objectives? And I keep hearing God say that you're missing the point. Like right
Mhm.
now, it is actually my
It's such a
testimonies.
distraction.
It's me, Jesus, that brings healing, and it's Jesus that brings redemption. No person's structure, no person's law is going to ever fix the mankind's needs. It has to come from Jesus. So, and it starts with our personal testimonies, our personal what was before, and now is another way.
Yeah.
It's in The Chosen a lot. They talk about it. I love The Chosen series because it really messes with a lot of this. Mary Magdalene's in there and she gets free. And one of her lines is like she's being asked, "How did this happen?" And she says, I can't tell you." He said, "It's not time for man to know." So I'm not going to even say his name because I don't know it. And that blew the guy away. Like, what, are you kidding me? Like, in the Chosen, they're saying it's Nicodemus. That's not biblical. I don't know. But but then she says, "All I know is this: I was one way, and now I'm another, and everything that happened to me in between was Jesus."
Mhm.
Everything that set me free, he's the one that set me free, or it
Yeah.
was him. She didn't say his name. She said everything that happened to me was him.
But people don't
So
wanna know that. Then they have to look internally at their own
yeah,
things. I mean,
in
that
the
one.
in the Chosen case, it made that guy, it made Nicodemus look. Oh, I
Yeah.
want to know if this is true, and
Yeah.
it made him hungry. If you're stuck on what it has to be, on a narrative that has to be, it makes you mad, and you won't get free.
Yeah.
That's my point. The narrative God wants, not only does God change, and He did the same thing with Simon, or not Simon, with Paul.
Mhm.
Paul was persecuting Christians. He was on the way away from persecuting Christians, and then he got knocked off his donkey. He got made. He said, "What are you doing persecuting me?" And he said, "Lord, who are you?" Why did he say Lord, first
Huh.
of all? And then it said Jesus. He said, I am Jesus, the one you're persecuting. And he made him blind. It says he made him blind. So even when Jesus does the opposite of this guy, it's still to change the narrative.
It is.
And then he told him to go to this guy, get healed, and he's going to bring healing to you. And then he became Paul, and Paul was the one that really radicalized the church. A lot of our New Testament is from Paul. So he went from a switched completely to seeing. He
Mhm.
saw in his not just his physical eyes, and he did get healed. His scales came up his eyes, and he
Mhm.
can see. But it wasn't just the blindness, the spiritual blindness. It was the narrative of his entire who Jesus is changed, and the
Mhm.
narrative of who Paul is changed. He used to be the enforcer of Pharisees. Now he's the enforcer of the kingdom of
It's
God.
funny how that switches.
Yeah, the whole narrative changes. So
Mm.
the whole point of what God is doing in our season is He's trying to open our eyes to see, and He does that with our personal testimonies. So as I'm saying this, does anybody have anything? Do you have any other questions or anything you want
No,
to
I
bring
just
up?
think the importance of stories and, like,
Stories, yes.
that is the most important thing is testimonies and just sharing, like, just being in people's lives and sharing what has been your blind man experience, like, what has happened to you that has just switched you. I think that those stories lots of times try to get taken out or else they start getting wrapped around things like shame or guilt or, talking yourself out of it. Maybe you're that kind of personality where you just try to talk yourself out of like, I had this huge healing happen and like, well, maybe it wasn't that, maybe it was this, or it didn't happen how you thought it should happen. And I think those are things that just try to rob us of
You
sharing.
belittle it. People
Yeah.
try to belittle it. People try to make you doubt
Try to
it.
treat it like it's not important.
It's not. It's not real. Maybe it was just a coincidence. These are all things that we say to
Mm.
belittle our stories. We
Yeah.
need our stories out. One of the biggest things I've done in the last few years
It's
is
true.
encourage people to share their story. I was telling you this morning that I was wondering. I know a lot of people who want to help people hear their identity, and the same questions that God has given me to help people hear their identity. But I'm like, why does it work so well for me? Like, why, no matter when I'm talking about it, people Like, I want to know mine too. I want to get close
Yes,
to God.
everybody's crazy about
Everybody
it
gets
around
like
you.
when around me, and I'm like,
They're
because it's
activated.
my blind man experience. I was one way, and now I'm another, and the person who did that to me was Jesus.
Yep.
And that could be your born again experience. But I'm telling you, there is a step that you got to take. In the 12-step program, the last step is helping others. So it's actually catching your story, like articulating your story, what you're getting free, and then sharing it with others.
Hmm.
That is a huge step in your own personal journey with God and your own personal healing journey with yourself, with God, is to actually recognize where He did that to you and be bold about sharing it,
Yes.
and be confident about it. The more
And people,
confident you are,
yes, go
the
ahead.
better.
Yeah. And I feel like lots of times you end up feeling like you're not qualified, you're not in a good place, like having to walk through things that are hard.
You
You feel like you might need a little shelter time or things like that. But the best thing, honestly, is just to get in
be
action
bold.
and be bold and do what you're supposed to be doing.
You might get opposition for it,
For
but
sure.
it
For
will
sure.
it will use it what I do, which it confirms that you're on the right path.
Yes.
This blind man had stood up against Pharisees,
You're supposed to have
and
opposition. That's
he actually disarmed all their arguments with one phrase: I don't know, but here's
yes.
what I do. I was blind and now I see, and it was him. They can't do anything with that. They can't argue that. They want to draw you into this other conversation. Well, he's a sinner and he did it this way. Jesus is this way. And people want to get into you
There
theological
were so many
conversations. They're
conversations.
like,
I'm
well, if
sure.
God is true, like you'll find that when people are starting to feel convicted and can feel the pull of God to come to him, you'll find people start to bring up questions like, well, if God's really real, then why do bad things happen?
Yes.
And they start to make the conversation a different topic. And that is
Mhm.
not what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We're supposed to go, I don't know about all that stuff yet. Even if you do know about it, you don't have to claim to be, it's a right and wrong answer. That doesn't
Yeah.
matter. What matters is, here's what I do know. You have more authority. This is what I was, and this is what I am now. And I know it was him that did it. There's no one that can talk me out of that.
Mhm.
And that disarms all the things.
It
That
does. It's
truth.
the best answer ever, and you just are not gonna argue with spirits
Yeah.
because you can't get anywhere with that when you think I can help and make things better with having conversations. Let's talk more about how you're feeling about this, or trying to go to these places. It does not work. You have to just know what is
Yeah.
true and
Now,
just take that.
maybe you don't like to say it because it's not an extreme. Like, let me give you an example. I
Mhm.
was born and raised as a Christian, and my dad has a massive born again experience.
Yeah, like life
My
shifting.
mom's not the same as my dad. Even my mom has a born again experience considered it to me. Like, we've known God, and it was when we were younger and all that stuff. But my dad has an extreme. I was a drug dealer, did this, and then my experience was extravagant, like
Yeah,
one way and then another.
you just know.
And that can, hearing someone else's story like that can make you shy away from your own story with him.
Mhm.
I wouldn't, don't shy away just because it doesn't match. It's not as extreme as your blind eyes are open. Everyone has these experiences. Everyone. And if you don't, let's start contending for you to have an experience with God that says, I felt loved, or I didn't feel loved ever, and he loved me. Or I was oppressed or depressed or filled with demons, whatever, and now I'm not.
Mhm.
Like, whatever it is, like, there's like all these different things. I didn't have any hope, and now I do. And that's because of him.
Yeah.
These are all things we got to stand on. And the more you share your story, the more it starts to say, it continues your own journey with God, it continues your own oneness with him. And it also inspires others to have their own personal blind
Yes.
man experiences.
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody have comments about any of this or questions that were
It's pretty delayed, so we'll
I think we're
keep
10
watching.
seconds delayed, so
Yeah.
if you have things you wanna add, we'd love to hear your perspective on things too and what you're seeing and hearing.
We were trying to think of a lot of stories, but most of the stories we know we can't share.
Mhm.
There's some extreme stories of, like, you were one way and now another. I know lots, but most people don't share them.
If they were
And
our story, we could share, but
yeah.
if it's involving other people, can't really share. That makes it tricky, but
Yeah, but there's lots going on. The biggest thing I can feel God and Holy Spirit like kind of giving us some guardrails this season is, don't be drawn into the narratives that he's not talking about.
mhm,
Well, who sinned, this one or that one? Or is he a sinner? Is it really Jesus or not? Like, those are the conversations we're not having right now.
mhm.
Here's what I am having, the ones I know that are true.
Yeah.
And you stand on truth, and the truth makes you free. So,
Do we just get a comment?
yeah, my dad, they would have to admit their sight was really bad blindness.
Mhm.
Yeah, and later on, Jesus said something about feeling for them because they did see and because they saw and they refused to acknowledge. Now their sin remains with them. So yeah, they would have to change.
So I'm going to read
They'd
this.
have to depend upon Jesus. The blind man had a whole lifetime of being dependent upon being blind, but now
Who's
he was
dependent?
dependent upon the one who he could see. Jesus, our testimony makes us dependent upon Jesus, not our own ability or our own
Yeah.
understanding.
And that's what people
Yeah.
struggle with the most, I feel like. I think that's the
He's
hardest
saying that's what the Pharisees
thing.
struggle, but we struggle the same,
Yeah,
which is our
absolutely.
own understanding. If maybe
Yeah.
you've got a great revelation about who Jesus is or who God is,
Hmm.
and if you get your on what you know, if you get your identity on what you know, or your sense of God and what you know, it's a false God.
Yeah,
It has to be in who you know. That
exactly.
revelation came from him.
Totally.
And so, yeah, the Pharisees
That's
were
so
hung up
good.
on
Yes.
they were hung up on their own way of following the law, and they thought they were the
Hmm.
top of the pile because of how committed they are. And they were very committed. They were very followed the law. They did a lot of hard things, harder than most of us, memorizing all of the Torah, to following all the traditions, all that stuff. They followed it
All
a
the
lot,
works
lots
to
and
look
lots of works,
good, to
and better than
the
the rest of the
knowledge.
people. So they thought they were
Hmm.
going to get in.
And doesn't that make you feel intimidated when, like the blind man, think about how intimidated he probably felt with these Pharisees that were sharing? Like they know so much, they're so knowledgeable, they have all the theology, they understand how everything works. And this guy is just a blind guy. And he's just like, he probably felt so like inadequate, Like
Can you
how many
imagine?
times have you felt like that when you're in a group of people and they're talking about this deep topic that you have no clue and maybe not even really care about? Like,
It reads nice on paper too. Like
yeah.
now he's got to work.
Now his life is
His life is
different.
completely different,
That's
and he's got
true.
to do some things that he didn't have to do ever before that were hard now.
Yeah.
There's like his whole life
You
changed.
can't sit around and beg all
Yep.
day anymore.
He's not a
Okay.
victim anymore. He
That's
can
true. I
now
didn't
he
think
can
about
like
that.
everything has changed, and it reads nice on paper. That was our cat almost falling off a ledge.
She's a
But
daredevil.
but it reads nice on paper, but the narrative changed, and it's all about being close to Jesus. David said, "I believe this happens multiple times, and we can be blind and healed in several areas of our
Mhm.
lives." 100%. That's
Yeah.
very true, and that's what I'm saying is we all have stories, multiple, but it would be good for you to know what those stories are,
Mhm.
because I believe we're walking into a season where people are looking for truth and they don't know how to find it.
Mhm.
And you're articulating what God has done in your life, that you were this way and now you're another, and it was because of Him. What is that? That's the formula for the story. I was this way, now I'm this way, and it's because of Him. That's a good formula.
It's a really
It's
good
simple.
formula. It's so simple, but we like to
uh,
bring it other things to make it harder.
I think everyone has some degree of being pharisaical and
Oh yeah.
like subtly. Yes, it's very true, Angela. I actually do think we all like it when we work hard for something and then we think we deserve an outcome,
Mhm.
and that's where we get in trouble. So we're not going to be one with God forever because of anything you did. It's all because of Him. It's our yes to Him, and that's it. It's all acknowledging that it came from Him. So a lot of people don't want to give that up. We want
No.
to be because of my works, because I'm better than the person next to me. I'm going there. I'm going to be with
I'm
Him.
trying harder. I'm working harder.
And you don't get that. I've heard
Yeah.
many people that are in high influence, even politically and stuff, say, "Well, I just hope to be a good enough person to go there." No, it's not. It's not about how good you are. It's about His goodness,
Yeah.
and you acknowledging it's His goodness, and because of Him, we are being changed. But you don't have to change to be with Him. It's just His love changes you. You can't help it.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's
I
freeing.
don't know if there's anything else. I do want to talk about one of the things we want to do. So we're doing these home groups. So people are doing this from home. So some of you are in a group right now. Um, And so one of the things we like to do is like, okay, a good way to follow through with this right now today would be, okay, in front of, if there's 5 people in a room, see if a couple of you will at least share a blind man experience in your life. Do you have any? Or ask God together, show me. We can do that now, actually. Show me where my blind man experiences are, where I
Mhm.
was one way and now I'm another, and help me have the boldness to share that story.
Yeah.
Um, you can also just put on some worship music and worship together. You can prophesy over each other, whatever God leads you to.
Mhm.
You continue to do this. We just do it this way to make it easy, so we can at least
Yes. It
stir
takes
what
one
God is.
person being bold
Yep.
and sharing, and then it just kind of trickles down.
It's only because of him. And
Yeah.
Angela said, I just
Yes.
reminded myself now. That's a great thing. If you're
Yeah.
alone in the house and you don't have people over,
Or if you're
look in the
at
mirror
work.
and remind yourself, or in the work, yeah,
Yeah.
remind yourself of like, I was this way and now I'm this, and it's
Mhm.
because of him. Find him, find where he is at and what he's been doing in your life, and share that. Some of us don't have a lot of, I get the privilege of sharing all the time. Some of you don't have an outlet to share things, but God has given you outlets. It's just not the same.
Mhm.
Just
You're around people all the time. I
yeah,
mean, like, I'm
you hear
sorry,
people
but
stuff all the time,
yes.
and you have chances to share. You
Yeah.
do a lot of listening these days,
I do a lot of listening these days.
but you have moments to share. And when you do, if you do a lot of listening, when you do share, it's more powerful. It's more
Yes.
impactful, actually.
But
So,
taking it all in, and
yeah.
yes, it's important.
Yep. So, the couple challenges for us today is, what is the my blind man experience? So we're going to ask God for that, and then we're going to ask, what narrative do you want to change in my life? Is there a narrative that He's been changing, that we want Him to guide? So let's just pray real quick, and then let's move on here to the next thing. So Jesus, I just thank you again for being with us. I thank you that you're speaking to us always. You're bringing us and growing us as your family. In this season that you have us in, God, I'm just asking to bring clarity to each one of us. What is our blind man experience? What is it? I was this way, now I'm another, and it's because of you. Would you help us remember those things? Even things we've forgotten, like even if it's a small thing that just it was important, but we forgot for some reason. Would you help us remember those things? And for those who don't believe they have any, God, I'm just asking right now that not only would you help them remember, but I'm asking for brand new experiences this year, brand new experiences, even this week, of I was this way and now I'm another, and it's because of you. I'm asking for brand new experiences in Jesus' name, and help us to also be in tune to the narrative, to the story you want to tell with your life and with our life. Help us to understand and see that story clearly and not be distracted by the conversations that the enemy wants us to have. In Jesus' name,
Yes.
amen. Anything you want to say?
No, I just think that this next year is definitely going to be a year of stories, like deeper stories coming out, and the truth, just like this story is just what it is. And
Yeah,
I think that people that have these stories that have been kind of buried away like treasures for a long time, I think that it's kind of going to be the season that we're the church that people can share these deep things that have been even like things that you've like conquered, but they still haunt you in certain ways. I feel like this is a year of like freedom from all those things. Maybe you had past addiction problems or alcoholism or abuse or things that
yeah.
have come up that we don't really want to
Even
talk
if
about
you
because it's
faltered here and
messy.
there, it doesn't mean you haven't conquered it.
Yes, exactly. Like we always say that, like, just because you mess up halfway down the road, it doesn't mean you have to just turn around and be done. It's like
Yeah,
you can
you've
still
already
keep
went down
going.
that
You've
road.
already gone halfway.
Yeah.
Keep going.
What would you say to people who really hate sharing their story? Like they don't want people to know.
And I think it's ask why that's the case, and talk to God about what is it in that that you don't want. Why are you always feeling triggered
Yeah.
when that comes up, or why is that always a topic that feels hard?
I would say that not only you, but we and many other people need your story.
Yes, we
They
do.
need God's story and your story in there.
Could you imagine coming to a church that everything was like so real and somebody is on Sunday morning is sharing about maybe the darkest and the saddest, hardest place in their life? Maybe they had an abortion or they had something that just felt so heavy that they never were able to share it, but they felt support and love. And that helps other people get free. So I think that when we share our stories, that sets the table
It
for other
helps.
people to have
And
their
it is.
blind man experience.
It's exactly what you're saying God is telling us to do. He's challenging us to go towards our story
Yeah,
and to share our
I
story.
think
So
so. So it's good.
awesome. Well, I'm going to leave it here. You guys continue to pray for each other, maybe worship together, prophesy of each other, share each other's blind stories. Maybe you have God reminded you your story, and see if God just puts someone on your mind. Okay, and send them a message. Hey, I just need permission. I need someone to be bold with and share my story. Can you be that person? And go share your story with them. So you were
Yeah.
this way, and now you're another. And then be ready because they might ask you to pray for them. They might ask you like, "Well, I want that
Yes.
experience."
And don't make it like an easy person. Make it somebody that's a little bit more challenging. Don't pick like me and Jonathan. I mean, of course, we're gonna have to we'll pray for you or whatever, but
Have to, is that what you
have to.
said?
But pick somebody or do something that feels a little bit like scary.
Scary a
It's
little bit.
good to feel a little scared.
Yeah,
You should at least feel a little scared of something every single day of your
because
life.
then you have to trust on Him.
Yes. And
He's
if
got
you're
to show
not,
up.
you're not living anymore. You've kind of slowly died. And we're not into that.
Nope,
So
we are alive.
bold.
Awesome. Bless you
We
guys.
love you
We will
guys.
see you guys next week.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.